Anything but that.
All right, now I'm trying to. Oh god, I've got this silly like split-second delay on the audio. What I think it is I think it's the Streamlabs plugin. I think that's what's causing it. Okay. Okay, how about now, guys? Nope. See, I'm still getting the audio.
You seem fine. To our end, at least.
Yeah, it's coming back on my side, and it's literally a split second behind my own voice.
It's an echo, or it's the only version?
No, it's an echo, but it's very, very hard to think through.
So the same issue you had
Imagine what I'm
last
saying,
time?
right? Yeah, it's not as bad of a delay as it was last time, but I still have the delay. Let me try something else here. I don't think that's gonna work. No, because it's just my microphone that's causing it. Can I completely remove this? Okay. Now I've turned on the linked layer. Can you try talking now?
Testing, testing, 1, 2, 3.
Okay. We got it. That fixed it. The layer was not linked. And now it's linked. So now it works. Awesome. I'm very happy about that. Because it was really confusing. Alright. We've got about 6 minutes left, so I'm going to turn the audio back off because we were doing a sound check. And then we'll see where we go. Alright? Fantastic. See you guys in a minute. Live. Hey, folks, welcome back to the first game of 2023. The Gatewalker Saga picks up where we left off before episode 6. The Gatewalkers are now on their way into. They've arrived back at Neverwinter. Let me turn the volume down. I love this music, but it is a tad bit high for the mood we're trying to establish here. So let me pull this down a wee bit. There we go. Great music, by the way. That is supplied by one of the contributors to the Foundry community. If you look at the starting page that I've got, the attribution to his songs are there. Strongly recommend. He's got whole kinds of them. It's really amazing, and he's very, very generous with them. So much appreciated that he does that. So anyhow, when we last left off with our stalwart band, they had arrived at the great city of Neverwinter. They had successfully brought a large group of the refugees with them and had dropped them off at the refugee processing center at the entrance to the town that they had come into. I believe it was the South Gate. They had also taken Raleigh and had connected her with one of the administrators in town who kind of specializes in processing the families that are coming on board. And she had taken it upon herself to try and process Raleigh and get her into the groups that are looking for, children looking for parents, parents looking for children, to try and help, make it easier for her and her mother to be reunited, if there is any way for that to happen. Because after all, Raleigh's mother had been potentially abducted on the road into Neverwinter, as many of the people that she had been trying to evacuate the lowlands where her farm was to get to Neverwinter on their own. And her mother had her hiding in the bushes while she went off to go find food and to presumably distract the entities, whatever they were. Raleigh wasn't really super clear about what those were, could be potentially have been hunting her. So you guys managed to get her into the city. You promised to help try and take a look, help keep an eye out for her mother. After this administrator took Raleigh off with the woman with the charming Welsh accent that had offered to kind of help her with kind of calming her down as you guys were going through the city. You met with the guard. He gave you the lay of the land. You were given a map by the administrator, and you started making your way through the broken city of Neverwinter. For Cauldron, it was definitely coming home, but things have clearly changed. The rift, which was probably fairly abandoned when Cauldron had last left there, at least a year, if not more ago, was now heavily populated with the initial group of refugees and people that had migrated up to Neverwinter looking for fame, fortune, and an opportunity. It's made up of the first round of refugees that had made it there. That's where they're squatting. And also people who had come not necessarily as refugees, but were looking for the opportunity, but didn't possess the skills that were necessary to warrant being given a property for them to set up a trade, start a business. They either didn't possess the right skill sets, or they weren't, they didn't qualify for one reason or another. And it's become a rather unruly area. You made your way through there, and you got over to the Winged Wyvern, one of the more famous inns, and it has an interesting bit of entertainment on its first floor. And aside from having magicians, jugglers, dancing girls, and a live band, as all taverns do, this one had an interesting game, test of skills, if you will. Instead of having a fighting pit like many of them do, this one had a small perch over a large well that dropped down to what should have been kind of yucky, mucky, icky water that primarily came from the sewers and drainage that made up the city. And two people would get up on there and have a battle of strengths, wills, and skills to see which one would get thrown off, and people would take bets. and the winner would, of course, get their piece of that purse. Battle had taken place. One of the gentlemen had been thrown off, but the fall seemed to take significantly longer this time. And shortly after him hitting the water down below, something came back up out of the water itself. A large, slimy, reptilian slash pescatarian looking creature with many, many limbs on it that came out with an attitude and started smacking and slapping and grabbing people across the bar. And the jovial, drunken levity that had been taking place was now quickly disrupted as everybody was rolling for combat, as this large creature was now kind of becoming the focal point of the evening. And that's where we left off. So before we get into the combat, we do have Damien, we have Cauldron, and we have Ruger with us tonight. And we may, in fact, have Elrin / Ravina showing up at some point over the course of the evening. Hopefully she will be able to join us, but Elrin will be in absentia today. Sorry, it was Angelina / Ravina that may be joining us tonight. Elrin is on stage in Broadway tonight, so she will not be on the show. Boo-hoo. Our hearts weep for her. What a great thing to be able to say. Oh, I can't go to my D&D game. I'm on Broadway tonight. Yeah, right. My heart bleeds for you. But we're all very, very happy and thrilled for her. But hopefully Elrin will be able to, Angelina / Ravina will be able to join us at least for a little while, because she's also about to be preparing for a performance here in Los Angeles and has to go to rehearsals. So we may only see her briefly, if at all, tonight. So, Gatewalkers, we've gone through our quick summary of what the previous session was like. Any questions, comments, concerns that we have before we get started?
Do you want one or more of us playing Elrin or Angelina until?
Yeah. So how about we do it this way? As per usual, I'll do the voice of Druger in combat. You tell me what you want Druger to do, and we'll have Druger do that. And how about we set it up this way to make things simpler? Cauldron, why don't you go ahead and play and act as the decision maker for Angelina?
Mm-hmm.
And Ruger, why don't you do the same for Elrin? Elrin being a closer battle type to you. I do believe you guys can open up their character sheets. If you cannot, let me know. I'll open them in the Twitch window so you can see them there. And I can also change the permissions so that after the break, when you come back in, you should be able to see them. We can maybe even take a quick side break if that's what's necessary in order for you guys to see that. So without any further ado, does that sound cool? Is that a working plan for everybody?
Yeah.
Cool. And I apologize for sitting so far forward, but the cat, who is suffering from separation anxiety, because I was in London last week, is squarely sitting behind the small of my back, and every time I try and move, he digs his claws into me because he doesn't want me to go anywhere, so I'm stuck where I'm standing, or sitting, as the case may be. So without much further ado, ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls, we are going to go into the Winged Wyvern Tavern where we had left off, and here we are. All right, folks. This is where we had left off. This creature, this wonderful, charming element had come in, and let me go and bring the lights up a little bit so that you guys can see this a little bit better, and you can make out where you are. The party was sitting around the table and was enjoying bread, beer, and there was a really nice ale. Their brown ale was pretty doggone special, but unfortunately, that didn't last, and we find ourselves now in combat. Let me go over and get us some nice fighting music to get things started. So here we go. All right, combat music has launched. Let me bring that volume down ever so slightly because that is a wee bit too loud for us to be able to hear ourselves talk over. Fantastic. Let me just check that here on the Twitch stream. All right, that should be good. Okay. Perfect. All right, guys. So here we are in combat, and without much further ado, the first person, the first person that will be getting involved in the combat itself, based on the order of attack that we had established, is one of the kind of ruffian type people in the room. I'm just trying to find him. Wait a minute. Boy, there are a lot of tokens in this thing. There he is. Okay. There's a gentleman in a large leather coat that has now seen this creature come whipping up out of the well, and has kind of decided that discretion is the better part of valor, and would like to try and leave. So without much further ado, he's going to beat feet. And he heads for the door. And out the door he goes. And he has now left this round of combat, which brings us to the second person. One of the commoners on the other side freaks out and immediately runs over behind the chair and starts to hide. So he is trying to give himself a little bit of cover, and that's where he is. He is actually quite frightened. He is now suffering from the frightened condition. So if you were looking to him to try and get some assistance, probably not the best person to be looking for. But fortunately... Oh, hold on. There we go. Ruger, that now brings us... Wow, that is like way big. Let me fix that. You should be... There you are. You're now up at the top of the initiative, my good friend. What would you like to do?
Am I still somewhat drunk?
You were intoxicated. That is correct. I had forgotten. That means that you will be making your actions. You're not wasted. You didn't get drunk, but you were tipsy. So unless you have to do a saving throw against something, you'll be okay for now. But don't try, if you try doing anything with acrobatics, anything that requires a dexterity saving throw, you're going to be in trouble. But your constitution and your strength are just fine for the time being. You are tipsy, but you are not wasted. So what would you like to do?
Okay, so I can get close to the creature.
Yes, the distance that you're at, you're probably about a good 30 feet. Yep, 40 feet from him as the crow flies, or as the adventurer jumps over tables, as the case may be. And
Well,
that's
I'm
where
not
you
gonna
find
be-
yourself.
Yeah, I'm not going to be jumping over any tables, but I'll try to advance on the creature. If I can get close enough, then I'll
Yeah,
attack.
Perfect. You should be able to get around Cauldron pretty easily, without getting too terribly messed up. Let's see. You can go a good 30 feet, which means that would take you to roughly right about there. You are going to be 10 feet away, so you will be out of range for melee, but you can, of course, always try casting a spell on this thing. Unless you want to go and dash. I don't believe you have anything like the dash attack feature or anything like that. Let me just double check your character
I don't think
sheet.
so.
Yeah, that's not your kind of fighting style.
That's okay. I'll activate Radiant Soul and bring my owl out
Perfect.
of the pocket dimension.
All right. Go
Do
ahead.
I have enough time in my turn to do a firebolt or no? Myself.
If you're going to do Radiant Soul and
think that's
call
my
your
action.
yeah, and also calling the owl, technically that's kind of pushing the limits of what you would be able to do. But you already had the
Okay.
owl ready in the pocket dimension, so it's really nothing more than just kind of releasing your concentration on that happening. So we'll go ahead and say that there's nothing really special necessary for that to happen. Let me bring
Okay.
your owl in. I know he's supposed to be here, so let me bring him in. There we go. Your owl is there.
Yeah, otherwise, I'll
And
get my swords out and get in a defensive posture.
you got it. So he is casting his aura. All right. There we go. Oh, okay. There you are. So you've got your owl and you've got Radiant Spirit. Let me make sure that that is turned on for you.
Is this thing we're facing an abomination, or
That's a really good question.
is
Let me
it
take a quick look.
I'm assuming it didn't set my fiend sense off when I had my divine sense activated going across town.
If he was, you know, gotta remember that only has a 60-foot range, and this one was way further away than that.
Oh, okay, so it's further down. Okay.
Yep, exactly. So, just check something here really quickly. The biography on these things has been removed.
Well, maybe Damien can fill us in as we battle.
Yes. So let me. There we go. I believe they actually are. Potentially. It is an aberration. It is not. Yeah, it's a little different.
Right.
So, yeah. Let me see. Will this show if I try this? Okay. So to let you guys see what that looks like. Can I actually show this to you?
Where's Druger? Is he with us?
He is. I just don't see it. I think he's under one of your icons right
Okay.
now.
Gotcha.
Yeah, I'm trying to show his token to you. They have changed the rules on how that works. So, if you guys want to, you can get a pretty good idea. What it looks like in that picture is pretty doggone close to what it looks like. It is an aberration, and it is very, very large. This thing is wet, glistening, slimy, and in a really, really bad mood. So, yes. There you go. So I'm trying to get the Radiant Soul thing to turn on for you, and it's just not... it's been... So you are now able to fly. Correct? So you are now able to fly. So let's... you immediately find yourself floating 5 feet off the ground. There you go. So you are now immediately off the ground. Your wings are there. Let me go and see if I can make that a little bit more clear for you. Okay. All right. You are now flying. As you can see by the condition icon on you, you are now off the ground. Let's see. You will be dealing extra radiant damage to one target each time. And you are now 7th level, so if I am not mistaken, that means, oops, I didn't mean to do that. That means that you would actually be doing more than one die. So let me just double check and make sure. Do you remember how many dice you do of additional damage? I think it's 1d8, is it not?
I think it's 1d8.
Yeah, but I think
I'll look it up.
Yep, if you could take a quick peek, I would appreciate it. And then let me know how much extra radiant damage any of your attacks were adding.
It equals my level, so 7 points.
Awesome. All right, cool. So, there you go. You have called, that is the end of your turn then. So let's move on to the next person. All right. This commoner that is right next to him, let's see if he has managed to... He does not make his saving throw. He is in the frightened position, and he is now prone on the ground, crying, screaming in sheer terror. Let's see about this one. He also has not made his saving throw, so he is also frightened and prone on the ground, crying and screaming blue bloody murder. This one has made his saving throw and is beating feet out the door. He is also gone. Perfect. All right. Next one. Just remember, folks, these are civilians. These poor civilians are now stuck in all of this combat with you.
You didn't pick something up out of the Land's End box, did you?
Hello?
Sorry, my mom came into my room.
Hi, Rachel. Hi. We love you. Happy New Year. I haven't talked to you yet, so Happy New Year. Tell your mom I said Happy New Year.
All right, I will.
All right, let's see if this one makes his saving throw. He rolled a 1, so he jumps over the edge and drops down into the pit. You hear a complete Wilhelm as he goes over the side. Ah, hoo-hoo! And he doesn't land well. He takes 6 points of damage. He can't take 6 points of damage, and he is now dead. You hear him bouncing off the walls as he's going down, and you hear the scrunching and crunching and splattering of his poor body as he ricochets off of the well walls on his way down to a watery, slimy death below.
Yeah, that's why I have wings.
You're also a 7th level paladin, and he is a 0 level commoner who has probably, before he hit the ground, needed to change his shorts. All right, this one here has made his saving throw and runs to go hide behind the wall so that he can be out of harm's way. This one rolls a 20 and I guess decides that he thinks he can he's gonna try and throw one of the burning logs from the fireplace. Alrighty. More chutzpah than brains. Here he goes. And that misses horribly. But you see this flaming log come flying out. It lands nowhere near where this guy is. And unfortunately goes spinning off and slams into the tables. Let's see if that starts a fire. It does not.
Is this guy a lot larger than normal sized?
Yeah, he's this one. So, Damien, you are familiar with what this creature is. This creature is known as an aboleth. Aboleths are pretty much bad news. It's also extraordinarily weird that you would find one this close to a city. So, Damien, what you know about them is they can breathe both air and water, and they also exude around them a mucus-like cloud, particularly underwater, though. And anything that gets close to that mucus, if you guys were in the water, would be probably in a lot of trouble. But because of the fact that you're above the ground, it's not anywhere near as dangerous. However, you are aware of the fact that the aboleth has a number of different ways to attack you, not the least of which is with its mind. It is an aberration. It's almost demonic, but it's not. This is some dark creation of nature that unfortunately will do very, very, very bad things to people if it manages to get around them. The one thing you do know is that in terms of any kinds of weaknesses, if this thing manages to hit you with its tentacles, you know that its tentacles can, by virtue of the fact that they essentially are creating their own putrefied, mucousy casing around them. It's why it looks like wet, slimy leather. It can do some very bad things if it manages to break your skin or even make contact with open flesh. Its tail can do tremendous amounts of damage, but if it manages to grab a hold of you or stare you down, it can try to enslave you. So this is where the weak-willed can be a real problem, and you're in a room full of commoners. So, just be aware. All right? So, Damien, be prepared to go and advise your troops as to what to do. But the Aboleth is now the first one to attack. And the Aboleth looks at the creature next to him and does his first action. He chooses to use his legendary action, and he uses Enslave. Very good. He manages.
Were we supposed to see those rolls, or?
Oh, I'm sorry. There you go. And I will show those on Twitch, too, for those that are trying to follow along at home. All right. So let me show this one to everyone. There you go. He has rolled a 19. He has managed to enslave 2 different people. He has enslaved this person. And he has enslaved this person. And I believe he cannot do a multi-attack if he does that. Let me double check. Correct. That is it for him. All right. They failed their saving throw, I believe. Let me double check. I have to do this, guys. One moment. He has failed his saving throw. Are you guys seeing these? Okay, good. They're coming in. Cool. He has failed his saving throw. All right. And that is it for the Aboleth.
Wait, is Fane the Aboleth or Fane the enslaved creature?
He's enslaved.
Okay, so Fane is not the name of this creature.
No. Fane the Falsifier is the name of the creature he just enslaved.
Gotcha.
All right, moving on. Our War Cleric is up.
Okay, she looks straight at Damien and asks, "Is this creature from another plane, or is it home to this plane?"
And our good buddy here. So, are you connected? You are connected, right, Damien?
Oh, I am connected.
All right.
Oh, yeah. Oh, Monkgo just dropped, I think, though.
Oh, okay. Go ahead and give us a quick roll for your Arcana. You need to roll a 12 or better. It's pretty easy for you to do, but you can blow it. You rolled a 16. You are aware that this thing is actually from this plane of existence, but it is just, I mean, this thing was created by gods themselves. They were, in fact, at one point they were thought to be gods, unfortunately. So you need to be fairly aware of these things, and the thing you're most concerned about right now, Damien, is whether or not this thing is considered to be in its lair. If that well is considered to be its lair, you're very worried because it can also do psychic drainage attacks, which can crush the mind of the feeble-minded.
But it has to see people to do them? Is that right?
It does have to see them in order for that to happen.
Okay, so Alrin's gonna move up next to the paladin.
All right. Oh, oops! I accidentally grabbed everybody. Don't want to do that.
For some reason, I can't move her token.
There we go. Yeah, let me
Maybe,
change that.
maybe back a little.
Okay. Let me give you
There.
access to her token. You have the right to see it. I just don't think you had the right to move it. Let me just pull her up.
Okay. And she's going to cast a fog cloud, so
Cool.
she's going to cast it on the creature, so it goes with it whenever it moves.
All right. I'm going to give you... everyone's got ownership, so everyone should be able to see her token now. All right? If you double-click on her, you should be able to hit that fog cloud feature. Just let me know if you can't, and I'll take care of it for you.
Yeah. I was considering blindness, but I don't want to make it saving throw.
Gotcha. All right. So she's going to use her spell, or is that her feature?
Oh, sorry. I think... Let me check again. Oh, that's one of her spells that's always ready.
Gotcha. So she can go ahead and cast that then, but it does take a spell slot, right?
Right.
Go ahead and cast the spell. What is the radius of that spell?
I think it's 20 feet.
Okay.
20-foot radius sphere fog centered on a point.
So where does she want to set the center of that?
The creature.
Figured. Okay.
Creature's head.
All right. Can she... Okay, she cannot control it, so once it's cast, it is in position, and that will be it. So, can you cast it, or do you need me to?
Well, she may have to try blindness then.
Okay, let me know which one you want me to try.
She'll do blindness, something that will move with it.
Okay. She does not have that spell ready.
I can't see what spell she has ready. That's weird.
If you look over on the far right-hand side, you should be able to see it.
Yeah, it's not showing on this screen. It only shows on my paladin screen.
Got it. Okay. If you refresh your screen, you might see it because I just gave you the rights to it. But
oh, okay.
So let me try that. I'll cast. So you want me to cast the fog cloud?
What does she have ready?
Just
start at second level.
Starting at second level. Okay. She's got aid, bolt of planar lightning, enhanceability, gust of wind, prayer of healing, protection from poison, shatter, silence, spiritual weapon, aura of vitality, call lightning.
Let's do spirit guardians.
Spirit guardians it is.
Get it nice and distracted and beat up. Maybe it'll leave the other people alone.
She's going to cast that at 3rd level.
I've refreshed, but I'm not back in yet.
You got it. There she goes. Spirit Guardian has been called. All right.
I like that.
Yeah, you know, like, that's pretty cool. I like that one too. All right. That would reach the Aboleth ever just barely. So the damage that she is rolling this turn would be...
So she's going to stay within 10 feet of the paladin and within range of the beast, if she can.
Yeah, she's just barely overlapping his token because he's a large creature, so she can reach him from where she is. So we will do damage on that creature. She is... just checking something here. I believe she gets to add... Because of her level, I believe she gets to add additional damage here? No, that's only if it's thunder and lightning. So let's check out the damage that she gets to roll.
Yeah, that's next round.
Yeah. Wow, 14 points. That's good. But let's check out the saving throw. The Aboleth succeeds, and as a result, sustains no damage. So, Good spell, but an even better recovery, unfortunately.
Yeah, I was trying to find spells that don't allow save, but
Yeah, and
hard
while
to find
clerics have some, but that's not their forte if you think about it, right? They have a lot of different things that they're supposed to be doing, but it's all right. It was a valiant effort, and it's still up, and that means it's still working until she casts anything that would break her concentration.
well,
All right.
hopefully it'll protect a couple commoners.
All right, Cauldron. Cauldron. Nobody is close enough to give you. Hold on, I got to add this guy into combat now because we added him. He's now in combat. Let me roll his initiative. Ugh. Oh, that's ugly. Okay, so he's actually at the bottom of the initiative, unfortunately. Let me move him down there. Where is he? I lost him. Whoa, whoa, whoa. I am not moving people. That's happening automatically here. There's just a lot of people in this combat. I'm having a hard time moving this guy through. All right, cool. He is now where he is supposed to be. All right. For some reason,
I guess I rolled pretty good.
something very strange has just happened in the sense that a bunch of the initiatives just got reset. So,
I just clicked roll for initiative on my combat tracker, and
all right. So we've had to, if you guys would be so kind as to re-roll your initiative, because unfortunately something went squirrely, and we now lost the initiative order, and there's just too many of you guys here for me to remember who was going when.
is it because I clicked roll for
I
initiative like on the
think-
combat tracker?
I think you did. I think that's why. I do know that the aboleth was roughly here.
I had no idea, and I apologize. Like that.
It
Okay.
shouldn't have done. No, it's not you. It shouldn't have done it that way. Should not have done it that way. All right. That's annoying. Let me figure this out here. So the aboleth has already had his turn.
I broke the game, guys. I'm sorry.
It's all right. Ruger, you were first.
Aldrin hasn't gone yet.
Yeah, I know. I'm just trying to move everybody around to where they originally were.
Yeah.
I mean, at least relatively speaking, right? Cauldron should be next. I gotta find Cauldron. There she is. Okay, that'll work. That'll work. Okay. Everybody's back to the order they were supposed to be in. And actually, you don't... I just realized you don't have... you have... Sorry, I'm not making sense here. Because I'm trying to make sense of what just happened in the freaking... Gotta get back over to Cauldron. There you are, Cauldron. Now we got you. All right. Cauldron. Sorry about that. We're now back to you again. I think I've got it reasonably fixed. So, go ahead and what would you like to do? Unfortunately, nobody is close enough yet to actually give you advantage on the aboleth.
Cauldron's gonna move there.
Cool. Alrighty.
Is the aboleth is like fully up now?
Oh yeah, he's
Okay.
perched on the ground between the lip of the well And that table, in fact, he's probably crushed that table that you see sitting there as well.
All right, she is going to try and attack. If I can target this guy. There we go.
Okie dokie. Go ahead and target him. Do, 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 do. Stabby, stabby. Go ahead and let her rip. Dagger +1. Unfortunately, as you try and stab the aboleth, you try to get into the root of one of his tentacles. He spins and slips past you. Your rapier comes out. Go ahead and try and strike with your rapier. The nice, bright, and shiny, silvery one that you got down in the tunnels with the dwarven mine. That will hit. So as he moves one tentacle out of the way, you decide, fine, I'll take the other one. And you go and stab him right in the other one. And as it slides into the gooey, gelatinous flesh, you manage to strike for 7 points of damage. And you see it go in and come back out. And it feels like there's almost no resistance to it whatsoever as you strike with your blade. Anything else you would like to do for this round, ma'am?
Nope, that is my turn.
Very good. Let's see if how the tribal warrior does here. He manages to make his saving throw. This is one of the bartenders. He comes over here. You see him pick up a spear from the wall behind him, and he throws the spear at the aboleth, targeting it, shooting from across the room. And he misses horribly, but not so bad that you have to worry about hitting anybody unintentionally. But the spear just gets smacked out of the air and goes spinning off and stabs itself into the ceiling, completely useless. Moving on to the next commoner. He is terrified. He is now sitting in the terrified condition and is prone on the ground. He is hiding under the table. Again, no help to you. Oops, I didn't need 2 of those. There we go. He is now hiding under the table. Damien, you are up, sir. What would you like to do?
I'm trying to think. So I seem to know a bit about this thing. Do I know about any weaknesses that it has?
Well, it doesn't have many. It doesn't have any weaknesses or anything like that. There's nothing that it's like you would imagine because it's a water-dwelling creature that would be sensitive to fire, but it actually is not. It is not any more susceptible to fire than any other creature.
How about lightning?
It has no natural weaknesses from that perspective.
Oh, gotcha.
But
Okay.
you do happen to know that it is not particularly hard to hit.
Okay.
But you know not to get close enough to get struck by one of those tentacles, because those tentacles are nasty. That mucus can poison you and can make you sick and can also burn you.
Well, I have a lot of.
I believe you're resistant automatically to poison, which isn't, so it means that's not a threat to you. But the acid and the fact that it's a big ass tentacle is still something you need to be concerned of.
Well, I will. Let's do this. All right. Let's. Here.
All right, smartly moving in next to the paladin so that you can take advantage of his aura should you get struck. So if you need a saving throw, you're going to get that bonus. And well, you got to make sure that we add that in manually because I don't believe it's adding it to you automatically. Go ahead, sir.
Let me see if I can actually. I want to make sure that just because I don't want to accidentally hit somebody. Um, I'm going to see if I can come down to here. There we go. That works, I believe. How far was that?
Well, the distance you've gone is still within 30 feet. The path was a little bit goofy, but
Yeah. Okay, guys.
but you're there. That's still within 30 feet. You would have just taken a slightly different path to get there. The path you took was wrong, but the distance is fine. So we'll say you took the path of least resistance to get there, and you're good.
Got it. Now I will go to my hit it with the. There we go. Oh, hold on. Oops. Back to do this.
Alrighty. Your 7th level. You can fire 2 beams.
Oh, there we go. Gotcha. Let me see. Let me go to. Okay, I am so sorry. It's been so long since I've done this. Is it attack or standard roll?
Attack.
Attack. Sorry. There we go.
And the first one hits. You see the purple eldritch energy encompass the Witcher as it goes up from the ground, fires through his arm, and strikes into the aboleth, and you make contact. Roll your damage, please. Ooh, good shot. 9 points of damage from the Eldritch Blast. You have 1 beam left, sir.
Do one more then.
Unfortunately, your second beam misses. It is writhing from your first shot. It sees you reach up with the second, and it easily dips out of the way as your shot careens off of the ceiling and does nothing. Moving on to the next person in combat. This is the Charmed Commoner. The Commoner sees you and rushes and tries to strike you.
Does he take the Spirit Guardian's damage?
He would, indeed. So, as he comes into the range, he has to make a wisdom saving throw of 14 or better. And he does not, so he takes 14 points of damage. And as he comes in, the spirits of Storm Guardians swarm about his body. You see him become electrified. You can see his skeleton illuminated within the silhouette of his flesh as he turns to cinders and dissipates into the ground. You now have a dead citizen in front of you.
He definitely lacked wisdom.
He did indeed. This next commoner panics, jumps over the edge, and is now dead. You see another one jump over the side, screaming bloody murder as he dives over the edge, and you see him and hear him scream and yelp, and he splats off the walls as he goes down into the well below. This commoner was already had a turn. He's all right. The magic user that had been up on the pedestal, it is now his turn. He targets the cleric and casts a spell. He casts Firebolt.
He's under control from the creature?
He is indeed, and that Elrin's AC is 20, and he rolls a 20. That means that She has now been struck and taken damage. She now has the option of using Wrath of Storm. The Wrath of the Storm allows her, well, he's too far away. He's more than 5 feet away, so that's not going to work. So, but she does take damage from the attack. The damage is 12 points. She now needs to make a DC 10 saving throw. Please go ahead.
Roll 10?
I think it might actually auto roll for her because she's not here, but if you want to, go ahead and roll a DC 20 for me.
20 or 10?
20. And if you go to her attributes, you should be able to click on her wisdom, constitution, and then give me a roll. She only has a constitution of 10, so she gets no bonus. So go ahead and roll and see what we get. Oh, +4. Make sure you put in +4 in the condition because she is within your sphere. So she gets +4 on this saving throw. Make sure you add that before you roll.
And it won't let me use her attributes, but I'm rolling a die.
Okay. So that is a 12, which succeeds. She is fine. She manages to keep her spell going. Moving on to the next character. Another one of the commoners who is seeing this absolute bedlam taking place. He manages to successfully make his saving throw. So he runs to the table. He rolled a 19. By the way, a 19 or 20, they will actually pick up the combat with you. He runs over to the table. All right. He picks up a mug from the table and hurls it at the aboleth. And he misses. It just gets smacked out of the air, falls down into the well. Useless. But at least he wasn't terrified. This one is terrified and is hiding still behind the table. Let's see if he can make his saving throw. No, actually, he was already... This is still first round. He's still scared. He's still scared. He was scared and hiding. No, he wasn't scared and hiding. He just decided to go for cover. We're now to Druger. All right. Druger, who is right over there. The dwarf is now seeing combat going, and he's thinking, I want some calamari for dinner tonight. What are you guys going to do for him? What would you like him to do?
Oh, he'll come in and attack next to the rest of us.
Absolutely. 5, 10, 15, 20, 25. He can't use Hugh. He's not close enough. But he can use his crossbow. Actually, he can use his longbow. Oh my goodness. He had arrows. Let me give him back some arrows. It thinks he's out of arrows. I remember you guys went and bought them when you were in town.
He also got some +1 arrows, I think. Not that I'm saying he has to use them.
That's right. He and Cauldron split those up. Which would you rather he use?
It's the regular arrows.
Got it. Alrighty.
If our Witcher says we can hit it, then he won't add the bonus today.
All right. And he fires his his longbow. And sadly misses with his first arrow, but he knocks another and fires. And hits with the second one. Let's see how much damage he does. You see the arrow go. You hear this soft sucking sound as the arrow disappears into the mucousy, gelatinous flesh. But he does manage to do 7 points of damage. And that is the end of Druger's turn. Everybody's favorite warlock, Ravina, Mistress of the Dark. What would you like Ravina to do? Your call there, Cauldron.
Probably an Eldritch Blast.
Very good. All right, she targets and goes for Eldritch Blast with Agonizing Blast attached to that. All right. First beam. You see the beam shoot across the room and burn into the flesh. Ooh, doing 10 points of damage plus her bonuses takes it to 16 points of damage. She rolls her second beam. Oh, a 19. Burns across, second beam. She looks over at Damien going, that's how it's done. Rolls her damage. And hits for another 14 points of damage. The aboleth is now starting to ooze pussy blood out of the various puncture holes that you guys have managed to strike into it. Oh, before I move over to the owl, did you want her to move or anything like that? Are you good with where she's at?
No, I'm going to move her around to the far side of the creature to flank it.
So you're going to put her with the... She can't get that close. Not the... I meant Ravina because I forgot to ask if you wanted to do anything else because she can do movement. We didn't do any movement for her. Are you good with her staying in partial cover behind the table?
I think she's probably good there.
All right, so I'll add that she has got partial cover. There we go. So now so you wanted to move him, your owl, over here behind the aboleth to establish a flanking? Is that correct?
Yes.
Okay. He has established that position.
And he's going to do a firebolt at the magic user.
All right. The aboleth is now flanked. Go ahead and target the magic user. If you double-click on your owl, you should see the spell book. Oh, the spell's missing. 1 second. Let me see if I can add the spell. It's firebolt, right?
Right.
Hold on. There you go. Now you're going at that distance. You roll with disadvantage, right? Is that not correct? Well, this is a spell, not a ranged attack. Check it with my rules lawyer, Cauldron. With this,
with this Eldritch Blast.
No, with Firebolt, because he's within 5 feet of the aboleth. Would that be?
No, I'm not shooting the aboleth. I'm shooting the magic user.
Oh, that's right. I'm sorry. So you're getting flanking on the aboleth, but you're shooting the magic user. Got it. Correct. Perfect. Go ahead. No problem there.
It's just saying new spell. It doesn't seem to have firebolt anywhere. When I click on it, it just shows up and says new spell.
Okay, just go ahead and roll a d20 for me. Because you would get no bonuses for that, essentially. 11. That will miss. You see the creature, the magic user, use his staff and smack the firebolt out of the way as the bolt comes whistling towards him from your owl. We are now in the second round of combat. Let's see how this guy does with his saving throw. He manages to dive for cover, so he is now diving underneath the bar and is in cover. The other bartender is not going to engage. Ruger, we are now back to you, sir. You are now flying at 5 feet. The creature in front of you now has been flanked by your owl. You can attack with advantage. What would you like to do?
Move up and attack with both blades.
There we go. Pulling out the dragon blade first, I assume.
Yes. Now, in all the changes, when I activate Booming Blade, does it take a spell? Or is that only when I do...
If you use Booming Blade, you're not attacking with a weapon. You're doing a spell. You're attacking with a spell. So it means you can't hit with the other blade. Unless you use... Go ahead.
I'll leave that behind and do a smite instead.
Very good. Go ahead, strike, and then we'll discern the smite if it strikes. Because remember, you lose the spell slot unless you make contact.
Right. I'll try to do a wrathful smite.
Very good. Wrathful smite. Go ahead and strike with the blade first, and then we will do wrathful smite if you make contact. We just lost Damien. He'll be back. You managed to make contact. Oh, hold on. You had targeted Fane, the falsifier.
That was the...
yeah.
That was the owl. Yeah.
Yeah. But because he's when you're controlling him, it still thinks he's the targeted. So if you can go ahead and... attack? Well, you rolled an 18. And that will hit. So go ahead and first of all give me the damage roll. Let me know if it doesn't let you do it.
Good.
Okay, so you rolled 10. So 10 points of damage on the aboleth. Go ahead and give me your wrathful smite. Wrathful spite.
Well, as a paladin, that's not my specialty, but I'll do my best.
Sorry. All right.
I'm going to cast a level 2, but
cool.
I don't know if it picked that up.
That means it'll be 2d6. So go ahead and he needs to make a wisdom check. What is your DC? For your spells, that is a 15. He needs to get a wisdom DC check of 15 or better to survive. Go ahead and so the damage. What did you roll on the damage?
Well, 1, but I thought I upcharged it.
Okay, so it would be 2. No, 7. Okay, so you're running 7. Let me see what the saving throw is. It succeeded on its saving throw. It rolled a 19. Plus its bonuses gets it to 26. By the way, it's a very wise creature, just letting you know.
Evidently.
So, yep. But
I'll hit it with something else next time.
Well, because you used a weapon attack, you do have your extra attack that you can still use.
Yeah, but I can't use another smite, can I?
You can only use one smite per round, so there you go. Unless you want to use divine smite. You can use divine
that's
smite.
True.
Yeah, so if you want to go ahead, you can still use divine smite.
Yeah, I could use another second level. Oh no, I'll just use the first level divine smite on it.
There you go. Go ahead, target him up. Attack with your silver longsword. And you hit. You manage to make contact. Go ahead and roll the damage for the sword first. You do an additional 6 points of damage. Go ahead and roll for your divine smite. Make sure you upcharge it to second level. You should see the little pop-up.
Just first level.
Okay, all right. Go ahead, use the first level.
But am I getting the Radiant Soul damage? I don't see it.
You're right, you did not. So there should be another 7 points. Plus 7 points, there should be an additional 14 points off of the aboleth. Done. Done. It is now looking quite wounded. You're seeing multiple places where greenish, pussy blood is starting to ooze out of the wounds that you have hit. You do an additional 13 points of damage. Your Radiant Soul does Additional. The creature is now looking extremely, extremely haggard at this point. All right.
In the depths of hell.
Correct.
Not that it came from there, but you know.
Yes.
I wanted to throw my wrathful spite at it. Take off my spells, will ya?
All right. See how this guy does. He makes his saving throw and runs behind the table, and like the other guy, tries to get for cover. So he dives behind the table as well. It is now the Aboleth's turn. The Aboleth will disengage. You see the Aboleth start flailing its tentacles wildly in the air as it dives back into the air and arcs almost gracefully through the air, almost fluid as water, and dives back down into the well. And you see it disappear into the darkness before you hear an ominous splash down below in the depths as it echoes up the stone walls of the well itself. And ladies and gentlemen, that brings combat to a close.
So did he release the wizard?
The wizard would be... Yes, he's now out of range. So the wizard would be no longer charmed. And that brings us there. Very good. All right. Ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls, that brings that very intense combat to a close. We are now going to take a couple of minutes for a quick bio break as we go in to deal with the aftermath of this most intense and very disturbing melee. The revelry of the evening has been disturbed. People have died. Furniture has been damaged. And the overall calm and harmony of the evening and the general festivities of the Winged Wyvern have been upset. And that is where we're going to pick up here in about 15 minutes, 10 to 15 minutes. Come back and check on us, and we will see you when you come back. I can see we've got a few people watching with us. Thank you so much for watching. Ladies and gentlemen, if you are watching, please give us a follow. We are trying to get to 50 followers so we can take some of the advantages that having 50 followers would do in terms of having access to additional features here on Twitch. Please, it would be ever so helpful. It doesn't cost you anything, but helps us out tremendously. So if you would please be so kind as to follow, we would appreciate it greatly. So in the meantime, ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls, we are going to take a quick break, and I will see you on the other side.
It's Neil frickin' Diamond.
It is Neil freaking Diamond. I understand. So, no, I'm with you on that one.
Downgraded.
By the way, we are back live.
I mean, hey, if people know what I'm talking about.
No, I grew up on Neil Diamond's music. So, by the way, we're talking about for those of you that weren't hearing what we were talking about during the break, and because I know we have at least one viewer out there. We're talking about how Elrin is in the musical A Beautiful Noise on Broadway right now, and she's performing this weekend, which is why she can't be here with us. And we were just making commentary about how awesome that music is. I grew up with Neil Diamond. My parents were huge fans. I was a huge fan. Still am a huge fan. Love his music. Grew up on it. I love ballads. So, what's not to like, right? Anyhow. But enough of this. Back to the story. So let's get back to where we were. Let's take our music down from the currently fantastic Paladin's Resolve, which is one of my favorite of the more thematic musics that they've got. And let's go back to something that's a little bit more appropriate for being in the Winged Wyvern in the aftermath of the fight itself. As you guys have, I don't understand why it goes in re-rolls. I've stopped trying to figure out some of the little idiosyncrasies of the gaming system. Ruger, you're obviously we're now in the aftermath of the battle itself. You're no longer we've got stew and ale, but you are no longer flying. You are no longer in the condition of flight. So let me go in and remove that from you. Not that you don't love flying. We love you flying, but you're not flying. Everybody that was here has, for the most part, those that are not dead, have recovered from their conditions and are mostly now trying to. For those that were cowering under the ground on the ground, they're trying to save face. But for everybody else that's not dead, they're kind of going back about their business. Some of them are actually back to the tables now, and they're having drinks and so forth. And a few of the people have actually gone home for the evening, and as a result, we've lost a few people that have kind of wandered off to go back to places from whence they came. However, by the way, Ruger, you are now once again back on the ground. You are no longer flying as your condition has worn off. You're no longer in combat, and that has sadly come to an end, so you're no longer flying. And Elrin is no longer concentrating. There's no spell to concentrate on. Ravina has joined you guys over around the table because it appears now that, the local constabulary has taken quite an interest in your activities. And they have now come in to have a little chat with you. You see that four of the city guards have come in with two of their guard dogs, and the guard dogs are kind of in close proximity to all of everyone. Two of the guards are carrying torches. They're flanking you on the outsides, and the two guards that are directly in front of Damien are standing on either side of the body of the gentleman who's on the ground, and standing behind them is a rather severe-looking gentleman in a more ornate set of armor. He is wearing the City Watch armor patch. So the material that he's wearing and the way that he is presenting himself physically, he's clearly a man of some experience. You can tell by looking at him that he has the walk and talk of a grizzled warrior. The guards They range everything from young men all the way to old men, and various degrees of readiness when you kind of take a look at them. At the end of the day, two or three people ran out of the room, but unfortunately 2 committed suicide by jumping over the sides of the well and slamming themselves against the stone buttresses on their way down to the water down below, which was now significantly lower than it typically has been in the past. And of course, there is the matter of the citizen that attacked you that you guys killed. Where we pick up the action is immediately in the ensuing aftermath. The battle, the screaming, the yelling did attract the attention of the City Watch. The City Watch is now there, including the gentleman here that you see, who is clearly in charge and who is flanked by these other folks. The tavern owner has walked over to kind of engage the conversation as well, because there's now a dead body on the floor of his establishment, which tends not to be great for business. There's also a cleric that has come in with the City Watch, showed up only moments after they arrived. Any questions, comments, concerns before we pick up the action there? Just remember, folks, silence is acceptance. All right.
Questions for me?
All right, cool. Moving right along then. So, as the guards kind of semi-encircle you a little bit, they're looking at you guys very cautiously. There's blood all over the floor from where or more blood and ash from where this person essentially exploded, being exposed to the storm guardian spirits that splashed his body and his life's essence all over the floor of the bar. The guards don't really say anything to you until this gentleman comes walking in with his presence. He looks down at the floor, looks over at the bartender, and says, "It looks like you had a little trouble tonight, yes? This is not normally the kind of activity I'm asked to break up in your establishment. Whores and gambling, yes, but death, no, this is not acceptable. Swarmy, what is happening with your bar? Why is this happening here? Why do we have dead men in your place of business?" You see the bartender getting very, very flustered. And he starts stammering out and starts pointing at you guys, and there's just nonsense coming out of his mouth. The captain goes and puts his arm on his hips and looks at you and goes, "Well, it would seem this is partly your doing. You are not from around here. I do not recognize any of you. So, speak! Tell me, why do I have the dead man at my feet and 2 rotting at the bottom of the well?"
Well, there was a monster that came up from the well, and these men were killed either inadvertently or because they had been charmed by it to attack us.
"Oh, I see, little girl. So, monster come
you're
out
welcome.
of the hole and start to scare you, so you say that's good enough reason to send 2, 3 men to their death? I do not agree with your analysis."
Okay, I'm going to try to intimidate him. Look, she told you the truth. Just because you don't agree doesn't mean that she's telling you a lie. There was a creature, an aboleth, came from the pit. Would you like to go down the pit and explore it? How about we go together?
Go ahead and roll your intimidation check. You see the captain walk across the room over directly in front of you. His men kind of start to flank the rest of the party slightly more aggressive posture. And you can see the caster takes a little bit of a step back behind the table. He goes right into your face. Do you think, Mr. Winged Man, your threats can upset Captain Rollo? I have seen things, my celestial friend. Yes, I think I will take you up on your offer. Let's go look for his aboleth. The harbor is at least a hour's walk from here. How could an aboleth make its way into a well in the middle of a bar?
You have a room full of witnesses, but your decision is to go walk to the harbor? You make no sense, sir. Interview the witnesses, the people who were here. We don't know any of them. We just arrived tonight. How could we have produced the monster? But they will all describe the monster to you.
So as you say that, he kind of looks around the room, gives a little nod to his men. His men start walking around the room. They start interviewing the people at the different tables. I don't know why that ends up re-rolling every time I try and move one of these guys. So.
Yep. Captain, I am an order of the gauntlet. You know we will not lie to a man in authority. But you cannot simply dismiss what my comrade in arms told you. She told you the truth.
He looks over at the bartender. Is what this winged one saying, is it true? Is this how it happened? The bartender starts nodding and puts his hands up going, out of the well, out of the well. I see.
We tried to defend these people the best we could.
Defend? He points over at the bloody mess on the floor. You have a strange way of defending, my friend. I pray you never defend me.
You're assuming we made that mess on the floor.
I have been told the bartender say you killed this one. He ran into... He looks over at Elrin. This one's apparitions, and he was snuffed out like the candle.
He was under the influence under the aboleth, an abomination. Have you ever faced an aboleth, sir?
Well, Rollo has had many battles in his career, but must admit, I've never personally had to battle an aboleth. I usually am terrestrial. In the land, in the cities, we do not run into too many lake gods in the middle of a city, if you understand my meaning.
I understand completely. We were surprised to see it here.
The two guards come back and report to him and confirm. Yes, sir. People say it went down precisely as they said. They were placing their bets, and all of a sudden this blasted aboleth came out of the basement hole and it started attacking everyone. If it weren't for these people here, I think all these people would be dead. Rollo looks over and goes, I see. So, I suppose you are looking for gratitude then because of the hard battle that you won. Well, we shall see. We shall see. There will be questions, of course. There will be an inquiry. And it seems that the people of this bar support your answer to what happened. But it is not up to Rollo and his men to decide your guilt or innocence. You will have to make witness at the Hall of Justice. Tomorrow, when you find it convenient, please come to the Hall of Justice and report in. We will have already submitted our report by then, and if need be, I will be called in to testify about what our exchange was like. If you are what you say, and it's transpired the way you say, you have nothing to worry about. Our colonel is a very just man. The adjudicators, however, well, depends on who is sitting in the chair that day, if you understand my meaning. Good luck to you, sir, and perhaps you should retire for the evening before any more unusual events should transpire before you.
That sounds wise. We shall see you at the Hall of Justice, sir.
Yes, we shall indeed, if I am called in to testify. Otherwise, check in with the colonel and the adjudicator that is on duty. They will have the report of my men and I. Good evening to you, and welcome to Neverwinter. Come then, let us go. And they all abscond out of the room as a result. Including the dogs, by the way.
Oh, some days I wish I weren't a paladin, but I think I'll stay one. Well, I guess we need to retire to a room to sleep all this off. Did we ever get our dinner? I can't remember if we ate dinner.
You actually didn't even get a chance to eat dinner yet. You had been served your brown ale, but that is about as far as it got, unfortunately. The barkeep comes up to you and says, really sorry, guys, but you know, I really appreciate you guys helping us out here with taking this thing out. I swear it's never happened like that before. It's never happened. The water's usually only a few feet down. They usually splash. They come out stinking like crap, but that's it. What the hell happened here? I have no idea. This has never happened before. This is bad for business. We can't have this. We can't have stuff like this happening. This is supposed to be a reputable place, if you know what I'm saying.
I know what you're saying, but you have a giant hole to the sewers in the middle of your bar.
Well, the Webbin was built on top of an old cistern, you know, where they used to, pardon the expression, they shovel out of crap for the city. It used to come in and get collected right here in the depression, go down into the sewers, and that was it. But normally the water's maybe 20 feet down, 30 at the most, and it's deep. The guys usually fall down, they smell like crap, they walk up the stairs, their friends laugh at them, they buy more beer. That's usually how this goes down. I don't know what happened. It's easily 120 feet down at the bottom now. And what the hell was that thing? What the hell was it doing down there? It's never had anything like that come out of the water before. You guys go back to your table. We'll bring over dinner. It's on us. It's on the house.
Thank you, sir. I'll go back to our table in the corner, which appears unscathed.
You know, the table over in the corner seems to have come through all of this pretty safely, without too much in the way of any kind of damage to it, or the beer that was sitting on top of it, which is kind of good. We'll get everybody over there into their respective seats. And Damien, get you up there too. There we go. All right, and of course, the owl, I'll just have him sitting up on the perch over here, over on the wall behind you. So you guys are sitting there over the course of the evening, and they bring over the remainder of the food for the night. I believe you ordered the brown stew. It comes in. It's quite good. While you guys are having your dinner, you do see the occasional person come in. For example, the cleric that had walked out, he was originally walked out with the inspector, but a little bit after he talks with you, two more of them come in with him, and they spend some time examining the remains of the body. They seem to be talking amongst themselves, and occasionally they go over and examine the edges of the pit. And one of them you see casting a spell as he looks over the side and looks down into the pit itself. They occasionally go over and talk to some of the other tables, making nodding sounds, occasionally looking over in your direction, occasionally looking down in the pit, occasionally looking over at the bartender. And then eventually they walk up to your table. They all three of them bow to you, and then they walk out the door going, we will see you all tomorrow. We will make a full report at the Hall of Justice. When you walk in, make sure that you are there before 2 in the afternoon. Shortly after the noon meal would be our recommendation. The adjudicators can be fickle, and we think it would probably be in your best interest to be there when the gentleman is, the high adjudicator is sitting atop the table. But we've already said too much. Good evening to you. And then they walk out.
Is the spellcaster Fane still in the room?
Yes, he's sitting over at this table here. He's sitting there with the bartender, and they're having a bit of a conversation. The bartender's having his own drink. The other bartender is still attending the bar. It's now very, very late, and most of the other guests in the bar have left. There's only a handful of people still there, though the bard's still playing in the background. They're still serving ale and so forth at the bar, but compared to the number of people you had in there earlier in the evening, it's just a small handful. Those two are over here at this table where you had originally been doing combat. The blood on the floor has been wiped up, but it doesn't quite exactly ever, how it is. There's scorch marks from the lightning bolts, as well as darkened blood that has been burned into the floorboards of the floor. So, as much as can be, there's been an attempt to try and tidy up the aftermath. But sadly, there still is quite a bit of evidence that there had been some degree of carnage there in the room.
I'll approach the table where the two men are seated and just ask them if either or both of them could be willing to come to be witnesses in front of the magistrates tomorrow.
You talking about this table over here?
Yeah.
Okay. I'll bring you over. All right. Are you going to sit down at the table, stand up? How do you want to...
I can sit down.
Okay. All right. So as you sit down at the table... go ahead and let me check something here really quickly on this guy. Okay. As you sit down, you notice that this guy next to you doesn't look particularly comfortable to be in your company. He just kind of keeps looking at you with an expression that kind of almost looks like he can smell something bad. And he doesn't seem to look you in the eye nor address you directly.
So I make my offer. Would you be willing to come speak to our defense in front of the magistrate as witnesses?
The bartender, and you see that goes, oh, yeah, sure. I'd be happy to go and clear this up. I need there to be absolutely no misunderstandings about what happened here, because it's bad for business, I'm telling you. I can't have people dying on the floor here. No one's going to get back up onto that bridge if anyone thinks that They're gonna get eaten by this damn thing on down there. I can't use that. And his friend looks over at him and goes, "You talk too much. You always have, you silicious fool." He looks over at you and goes, "I needed no prompting to dislike you. But if I'm summoned, fine. I might be persuaded to come in and give my side of the story at the adjudicator's bench. Yes. Yes. I think I might at that."
Fine, that's all I'm asking. I get up and leave.
All right. You go back over and join your friends over at the table. Oh, I actually dropped you on the table. That's not what I meant to do. There you are. You're actually seeing back behind them. You guys can see out into the street through the window that's directly behind you. You see the city watch occasionally walking by. The activity that you had originally seen when you came into the town, even though it was still quite late when you got in, has definitely died down considerably. There's almost no activity outside in the street at all. The barkeep comes over to you guys and does explain to you where your rooms are. They're upstairs on the top floor. You guys have a common room, bunk room, where you guys can all bunk up together and keep all of your gear in the same room. If you want to try and make additional arrangements or find private rooms for each one of you, he can make those arrangements the following night, but for the time being, that's the best you guys can get. Would you guys like to, are you guys going to retire, or is there anything else you'd like to do this evening? There are still some people there in the bar.
I look around the table and I ask if anybody has a read on the spellcaster that, took up magic against us, but was completely unscathed by the captain and doesn't appear to like us to begin with. At least not me.
By the way, Cauldron, your disguised self will have worn off by now. Have you slipped off someplace to re-establish it?
Sure.
Okay. All right, so let's go ahead and have you cast an additional disguised self. So you used an additional spell there. That stew and ale one makes me laugh every single time. Okay. All right. So, as the evening, you slip off to the ladies' room, the powder room, and you reestablish your disguised self so that you can do so in private before anybody notices what you were supposed to be, what you were doing. You come back to the table. By the time you get back, pretty much everyone is gone. The table immediately next to you is now devoid of people as well. There's now just the magic user who is sitting by himself with a small silver goblet in front of him. He's reading from a book in front of him. You see him muttering slightly, and you see his pen moving in the book. He's using some sort of spell to make the pen write itself while he's sitting there in front of the goblet. The bartender has gone back to the bar. He's continuing to work the table, doing the cleanup, mopping up the remaining messes. There's still 2 people over here at this table, but for the most part, that's it. It's essentially gone down. Even the bard and the music has decided to call it quits for the evening, and now pretty much all you can hear is the scratching of the feathered pen from the magic user at his table, the murmurs and whisperings of the 2 men at the table on the far side of the room, and the occasional clinking of plates and silverware and mugs over from the bar. All of this being kind of accompanied by the melodious droning of the fire in the fireplace, which continues to burn with considerable intensity not too far away from those two chairs on the other side of the room. Would you guys like to try and do anything before you proceed to turn in for the evening?
Not me. I'm ready to sleep off my
Sleep off your brown ale?
my lugubrious state.
Your lugubrious, my most lugubriousness. All right. So, anybody else? What about you, Cauldron?
Nope.
Damien? Anything else you'd like to try and do before you guys decide to retire for the evening?
No, I don't think so. No, I think I'm good.
All right. So all of you folk go and retire for the evening. Now, I don't have a room to go and put you in, but I'm sure you can imagine what a room looks like. It's a large bunkhouse room. There are 3 double-ended bunks in the room for you guys to go and sleep on. There are various trunks you can lock your stuff up in that have been provided with keys. Cauldron, you find the locks to be laughably easy to pick, but the keys have already been provided nonetheless, so they're there if you guys would like to, stow any of your gear other than carrying it around inside of your backpacks as you have been doing thus far. If that's it, then what I'll have you guys do, let me check to see if anything happens over the course of the remainder of the evening. All right. Okay, over the course of the remainder of the evening, things are quite quiet. You guys do manage to get a full night's rest, so all of you please take a long rest with respect to your character sheets. Damien, do you need me to do that for you, or can you do it yourself?
No, I can do it myself.
All right, okay.
You may need to do it for Elrin.
Right, we give Elrin a long rest. She has now recovered her hit points. We do that for Ravina.
Before Elrin goes to sleep, I'm going to heal her with a lay on hands.
Okay, I had already hit her with the long rest. She's already fully healed over
Good.
the course of the evening. Cauldron. Did you do a long rest on yourself already?
Yes, I did.
Perfect. Ruger?
Yeah.
Perfect. All right. So your owl has...
You know what? I'm gonna need you guys to do it for me because they can't seem to find it. I'm sorry.
All right.
Yeah, the owl can go back in the pocket dimension.
Cool. He has gone back into the pocket dimension.
Yes. Oh, wait, no, I found it. Darn it.
It's all right. I'd already done it for you, so...
I finally found the button. Oh well.
Life sucks. Let's see. I want to make sure I've got your character set up correctly.
Was there no piece of that creature left in the bar that we could take with us? Some proof that it was there?
You cannot. However, give me an investigation roll. It's now the next morning. Go ahead and give me an investigation roll.
Okay.
You want to roll a 14 or better on this. You rolled a 13. You don't find any physical evidence other than the fact that there was a broken table right here. That table did take damage from when the aboleth landed on the perch right above that lip. The blood seems to have been cleaned up by the bartender and his assistant over the course of the night. And as a result, sadly, there really isn't anything that you can point to as having been, a clear indication of the fact that that had ever been there. You guys come down in the morning and you are escorted over to a slightly different table. You're given this one over here, which is a little bit more spacious and gives you guys a little bit of room to spread out, and you can use that additional space to kind of get yourselves situated and prep up your gear and get ready to go. Now, one of the things you guys do want to probably take a look at is you probably do want to take a look at that map. So let me quickly take a look here. All right. So here we go. Okay, there we go. So you guys are right there at the Winged Wyvern, right by the bridge that is not too terribly far away from Castle Never, which, by the way, is presently uninhabited. You are in the Protector's Enclave, an area which you know, Cauldron, to be pretty safe. It is one of the tamer areas of the city, as opposed to the Shard of Night or the Tower District. Blue Lake is not bad either. Protector's Enclave is probably one of the better parts, although the closer you get to the graveyard, the more iffy things seem to get. The place that you guys need to go to is the Hall of Justice, which, if you take a look, is not too terribly far away from where you are. You follow the main road to the west, make a quick southwesterly cut, and then you can cut your way back up. It's a rather large building. It's almost impossible to miss. You have a hearty breakfast, and the bartender comes over and provides you guys with your breakfast meal. Hearty meats and cheeses, breakfast beer, always popular, always something that's a fun thing to do. Bartender comes over, and let me kind of close the bar for those of you the map for those of you that are on Twitch. It is morning time, so let's make sure that we have the lighting reflecting that. And the bar is starting to come alive. There's significantly more people in there. There's folks that have been in there from the night before that are taking an opportunity to have their breakfast. But it is definitely morning time now, and things are looking a little bit more cheerful. The inside of the bar clearly still needs to be illuminated because, like most bars, it's kind of dark and dank on the inside, all things considered. You still need to have illumination at the tables. With where you guys are sitting, you're definitely closer to the fireplace, and it's much easier for you guys to kind of keep yourselves protected as you're kind of in an area. You see that there's a commoner sitting over at the fireplace here. He is one of the people that was at the bar last night. You see another one had wandered over to the table over here earlier on. There are many other people inside of the bar now, but for the most part, those are the two that you are most familiar with, for lack of a better word. How would you like to proceed?
Is the bartender at the bar?
There's the barkeep that's immediately in front of you, one that comes over and serves you your breakfast.
Guy from the table last night.
Correct. Yes, sorry, my nose is itching. And then there's another. His partner is the one who threw the spear. Is back over towards the bar, pouring ale and directing the kitchen scullions to go back and forth with various plates and so forth, and barking orders into the kitchen, which is off to his immediate right. How'd you like to proceed? How'd you like to do this?
Well, I was going to try to talk to the old bartender to find out what the perspective of the magic user was.
All right.
Why he might want to come check out the proceedings. Didn't sound like he had our best interests at heart.
Well, let me walk you on down to that bar. The other bartender is moving around here, there, and everywhere, trying to take care of the various the various what was the word I'm looking for? Customers. That was the word I was looking for. Not that hard. Why was I having such a hard time? The various customers that are around the bar. It's getting busy, as I said before. It's the morning rush, and it seems to almost be like all of the chaoticness and the damage and the deadliness of the night before seems to have kind of been worn off. While the rest of the party sits up at the table, you go down to the bar, Ruger, and the person behind the bar is, as you get closer, you realize is a Goliath. You weren't able to tell through the trappings. Typically, Goliaths don't wear a lot of armor, and this one was wearing some heavy skins and a large leather cap on his head, as you know, typically you would end up seeing for someone who's in a tavern. So you didn't at first notice that when you saw him until you got much closer. And as you get closer, you're not small by any broad stretch of the imagination. You're easily over 6 feet tall. This creature is kind of like Bart's, you know, similar kind of dimensions, kind of like a mountain with teeth. Bluish skin with lots of tattoos and deep set crystal blue eyes. And a ruggedness that looks like he was chiseled out of the very ice that makes up the land that they come from. He looks at you as you're coming in and goes, can I help you? What can I help you with?
I'm looking for the bartender who was there for all the festivities last night. It was quite a show.
Yeah, it was fun, wasn't it? I got to throw a spear. Haven't thrown a spear for a long time. It was fun. Fun. It was over too quick. Not enough killing. But, you know, I run a bar now. I don't get to kill things. Sucks. Did I help you?
So the barkeep that was there last night, where's he?
Oh, yeah, he's over there. He's he's a little bit sensitive. I think they call it sensitive, yeah. That they call it these days. Yeah. Doesn't like to see blood. I don't mind blood.
Okay.
Even my own blood. Don't mind my own blood. Don't mind your blood. Don't mind his blood. Don't mind that blood. Blood over there. Blood fine.
Do you know the magic user that was sitting there last night and came over to cast a spell against us? You know why he doesn't like paladins?
Oh, you mean, yeah. He don't like anybody. That's why I like him. He doesn't like anybody. I don't like anybody. I like blood. I like blood. I like coin. I like blood. I like blood and coin. It's good. It's good stuff. I like them both. Yeah, don't get enough of that these days. He don't like nobody. I don't like him. You're okay. Did I help you?
Well, I just wanted to see if the bartender was going to be there or if you were going to be there today in front of the magistrate. You know, we just have some business to sort out, evidently. So just trying to see if there'd be any friendly faces.
You need a friendly face? Does this look like a friendly face?
We just need someone to tell the truth. Somebody with honor.
That's, well, I gotta run the bar, so, well, you can ask him. You know, maybe he'll help you.
I appreciate it. Thank you for your time.
Okay. But, damn good shot with those swords. It was good stuff. Puts up and gives you a knuckle bump.
Yeah, it was great. Thank you for your help.
Yeah, it was good, but not enough blood. Needed more blood. You know what I'm saying? More blood. It's good. Blood is good. Coin and blood. Good stuff. Yeah. I miss it. I miss it a lot.
Well, those of us who've been to war don't often wish for it back, but I understand what you're saying. A good fight now and then just feels good for the soul.
It does, yeah. That's why I go home and let my wife punch me in the face. It's good. I like it. There's blood. Then she takes my coin. Blood and coin, like I told you, it's good stuff. Oh, what was I doing? What was I doing? Was I doing something? Did you ask me to do something?
No, I didn't ask you, but you probably were. I'll take my leave now. I walk away.
You're gonna leave what? You leaving something?
I'm taking my leave. I'm leaving.
Okay, you can take it. Just don't take my leave. I only got one leave left, and I don't want you taking mine.
Understood.
Good.
TM, I walk away.
All right. Bye, friend.
Bye.
Oops. I just deleted somebody. One moment. 1 second.
Who got deleted?
Never mind. Nobody important. Sorry. He's back. There we go. So, you go back over to the table. And you get back over to where you were sitting. The breakfast is really good. It's, rashers of bacon, nice roasted pumpkins, no turnips to be found anywhere, and everybody at the table is very glad that you're not eating turnips because you have a long walk through the city to get back over to the Hall of Justice, and everybody doesn't want to have to stand upwind of you. The other bartender that you were talking about, he's finishes working over the other folks, and as he comes back in with a fresh load of ale, he comes around the table and starts filling up everybody's glasses. Yeah, here you go. Here you go, guys. That's great. Yeah, so let's fill up the glasses again. Thank you very much, because we can't have too much blood here. Grohl, he nice guy, but the ladder doesn't go all the way up to the top of the tree anymore. If you know what I'm saying. One too many hits to the head. Not that those Goliaths are really smart to begin with. They're about as sharp as well, pretty much as a bowling ball, if you get my point. But it's really like you guys coming in here. Really appreciate that. We kind of owe you one. So drink up. Breakfast is on the house. You guys okay with the room you got? You want something nicer? The room one you got we can give you for free. But you guys want separate rooms? I'm gonna have to charge you. We'll give you a really good rate, but I gotta charge you if you guys gotta take a separate room.
Party? What do you think?
I think we're good.
Yeah, I think we're all right.
Okay. Well, look, we'll see you guys later on tonight. Tonight, I think we got roast branzini. Yeah, that's it. Good stuff, man. We put it over the coals. It's really nice. A little bit of sea salt. Good stuff. But it goes fast, you know what I'm saying? So make sure you're back here before too late, because I can't guarantee it's going to be around too much longer. I'll try and hold some over on the side, but you know what fish is. You leave fish out too... I'm talking too much. I really apologize. Hey, one more round of breakfast ale on me. We'll see you guys back here at dinner time tonight. Don't forget, tonight we got no calamari coming out of the pit, you know what I'm saying?
Yeah, let's hope not.
Yeah. No worries. Hey, look, good luck today. And leans over. Be careful what adjudicator you get, because we're on the street. Half the adjudicators, they've greased palms. You know what I'm saying? To get in there, you got a couple of guys that are straight there on the up and up. They're not about as exciting as pretty much porridge, if you get my point. But it's coming to the other guys that are in there. They got history. You know what I'm saying? They got backing. They got background. They got people. So, just be careful. Watch yourselves, when you go in there, if you know what I'm saying. Let me know who you got, and, Phineas will try and tell you what he knows about him, if you get my point. But I didn't tell you nothing, you know what I'm saying? I didn't talk, loose lips sink ships, you know what I'm saying? So, seriously, though, good luck tonight, fellas, okay? Hey, Bonnie, get over here! He goes running off, and he takes off after another one.
So we're kind of on our own until the afternoon.
Yep, it's only about 9 o'clock, so you guys spend your morning doing regular maintenance, working on your armor, sharpening swords, oiling weapons. Spellcasters, you guys, for your spells, you make sure that you've got enough reagents, that nothing's been left out. Cauldron, you have a particular challenge. Your challenge is that your disguised self only lasts for an hour at a time. And you've been casting that spell. You came down this morning, you had breakfast, and over the course of doing casting that spell, you've already used up one of those. You guys go back up to your room afterwards. Oh, nice. Did you see that little spell effect? I didn't see that last time. That's really cool. So you used that one. It lasts the entire time that you're downstairs having breakfast. Of course, it wears out while you guys are upstairs, and you probably need to make some decision as to how you're going to go about this. How are you going to continue to keep casting Disguise Self as you're walking around, or are you going to try and do something else?
I think Cauldron will mostly, like, if I don't know where the other party members are going to be, but like probably just like stay away in the party's room.
Okay.
To just avoid using it.
Got it. So
But,
you're
like,
staying. You pretty much stay upstairs until it's time for you to go. Correct?
Yeah.
Okay. Yes. Hold on. Okay. Cauldron.
Yes.
You get the distinct impression while you're sitting there just finishing up the last of your breakfast before you go upstairs. You had the feeling as you were crossing over to the stairs to go back up to your room. You had the feeling you were being watched. You quickly turned around to see who might be looking at you. The bar is full of people by this point. Quite literally every table, every chair has got somebody sitting at it. There's people having breakfast everywhere. As you quickly spin around and take a look, you can't see anybody directly staring at you or looking in your direction.
Is it the spellcaster? Can I see the spellcaster?
You do not see the spellcaster. You do not see the spellcaster. But there are a lot of people in the bar. And let's also face it, most of the people in this bar are merchants, travelers, commoners that have come in to either have their breakfast before they go off to work, or they're staying at the inn because they've got business in Neverwinter. And again, they've come down for their breakfast. So the place is pretty packed. But you guys are clearly higher level adventurers. You're walking about in armor that is stately, in some cases is emanating a magical essence, and you look a little intimidating by comparison. So you guys do stand out. Even in your disguised form, you can't escape the fact that you're hanging out with 5 other people that look like Barney Badass and the Soul Patrol. So you've got that. You're kind of... Well, you're not exactly subtle, but you're not exactly completely out of place either. But you clearly look like a force to be reckoned with. So you guys do draw attention. Plus, everybody is... You can see and hear the murmuring, and a couple of people are gesturing in your direction, and you see people pointing at the pit, and they're pointing at the blood stain on the ground, and they're pointing to the damaged wall on the far southwest side of the well. And there's occasionally the person will kind of pop up and look over you and then go back down, and they start talking at the table. Let's face it, you guys put on quite a show last night. An aboleth came out of the well, and you guys took care of him handily, where most of the people in the room thought they were dead, and probably about half of them were cowering on the ground, soiling themselves. And instead of soiling yourselves, you guys got up and kicked the crap out of it. So people are talking. That being said, you guys go back up to your room. And nothing else happens for the remainder of the morning. It's coming up on the midday meal. You can smell the cooking of the stew down in the kitchen as all the leftovers from breakfast get thrown in with potato, oats, and whatever else they can get their hands on to make the lunchtime porridge. As you start smelling that, there's a quick knock at the door. You open the door and you see Phineas, the bartender, standing there. He's got a small bundle in front of him. Yeah, look, guys, look, I got a bit of a reputation here, you know what I'm saying? I'm kind of known. And, look, I really appreciate you guys doing what you did last night. So, look, you want to get over to the Hall of Justice before the afternoon shift. Because I got word that, the guy is coming in the afternoon. He's not the nicest guy in the world, if you know what I'm saying, you know? Kind of a jerk.
All of Justice, huh?
Yeah, the guy that's the guy that's gonna be working there tonight, the high adjudicator. He's an old guy. His name is Gren. Whatever. His first name's Gren. Nice guy, old. Not a whole lot going on upstairs. He's starting to get a little senile, if you know what I'm saying. And there's been a lot of talk about people trying to get him moved. But he's just such a nice guy, and he's got such an even temper, so people love him. And he's pretty connected with the folks on down in Waterdeep, so, you don't go and get rid of a guy like that too easy, if you know what I'm saying. But, yeah, he's nice. The other guy who's coming in this afternoon, real piece of work. They broke the mold when they made that guy.
Can you come in with us this morning, then?
Yeah, me and the Hall of Justice, we don't get along too well, if you know what I'm saying. Kind of got a bit of a reputation. They used to know me over there. And not in a way that I like to think about, if you get my point. You know what I'm saying?
Sure.
But, look, in the afternoon, his high mightiness is coming in. He's second in command to Gren. His name is Lord Fausto. Real piece of work, that guy. You don't want to find yourself being judged by that guy. Real, what's the word I'm looking for? Well, let's say the stuff that we normally find down in the bottom of the well normally comes out of guys like that, if you get my point. Oh, by the way, the missus, she made these for you. He hands you guys a big basket that's tied up at the top, and when you open it up, there's fresh rolls that are in there with roasted potatoes, roasted carrots, basically a make-your-own lunch kind of situation. But look, you guys need to get over there, like, sooner rather than later. Like I said, Fausto, not the best guy in the world. Real piece of work. Gren, you got a fighting chance. If you really need me, let me know. I'll go in and maybe I can talk to somebody. But going into the Hall of Justice, not something a guy like me probably wants to do too terribly often, if you get my point.
Okay, point taken.
Yeah. Not that I don't, not that I'm not, super thankful for what you did. Totally. But, yeah, not exactly the best place for a guy like me. But, you guys, you do you, right? Look, I gotta go. The lunch run's is gonna be stopping here pretty soon, and, just take care of yourselves, okay, guys?
Thanks. We appreciate the news.
Yeah. Just, be careful. Oh, well, look, not like I'm gonna start, pouring baths for you guys or anything like that. You know what I'm saying? Look, good luck. You see him trot off down the stairs behind you guys.
Aldrin turns to the party and is like, that Fausto guy is the one that's got it out for me.
Oh. That's good to know. We will protect you. So should we head over this morning then? Instead of this afternoon?
Are you asking me, or are you asking your party?
I'm asking the party.
Okay. Wasn't sure. You asking the DM?
Elrin says, yeah, I think that's a good idea. I think we've lost Damien.
I think we lost him. Yeah, I was waiting for him to respond.
No,
too.
I'm sorry, I'm muted. I was saying,
sorry.
yeah, I'm absolutely for. I feel like we should do. It seems like they're doing us a favor by giving us this basket, so we should, do the same. We should probably head off sooner rather than later.
My only concern is I don't know how long I'll be able to keep up a disguise. Well, actually, I do know how long. About, what was it? 3 hours? Let me double check.
What about a non-magical disguise? Something
That could
that
work. Sorry, 4 hours.
What if we could get you around town, like in a covered, wagon, cart, cabriolet, whatever they have.
Cabriolet?
Yeah, something horse-drawn.
Cool.
All those little vehicles that hold about 2 to 4 people, but they usually have a driver, like a carriage.
What do you think, Cauldron?
Sure. I think that would work.
Okay, so that's where the word cab comes from. Maybe we'll go out and call a cab. Maybe there's a horse-drawn cab. The driver could take us over to the Hall of Justice.
All right.
They're quick.
I hadn't considered you might do that, so give me a second to think about how I'm going to deal with that. All right.
Well, we have to find one first.
Yes, you definitely do.
Where's
All right.
Elwyn when we need her?
All right. Cool. So, you guys go outside, and let's see if you can find a cabriolet.
Well, some kind of carriage, some kind of cart, wagon, something for moving people.
Cool enough.
That has like
No,
a cover.
you said cabriolet. We're now stuck with it. Good job.
Oh, okay. All right. So, you guys go outside, and after a little bit of work, you do manage to find a carriage. It's not overly, elaborate, but you do manage to find one, and the guy charges you 1 copper each to get there, which I won't bother. You guys won't have to bother taking out of your money. That's a little bit too trivial to have to deal with, if you get my meaning. But you start traveling through the city. The city is just absolutely abuzz right now with activity. The activity itself has, nothing that you would find unusual. It's pretty much what you'd expect to see in a major city. And in fact, considering just how long it's been since you guys have had an opportunity to find yourselves in anything even remotely resembling a place of sophistication or modern setting or any kind of like major city, it's kind of a refreshing change for you guys. And let me see what happens as you're going along the way. All right. Nothing.
I was really trying to clip that cabriolet moment. I was trying to clip it.
Uh, as you guys are driving around, you don't see anything unusual. That's not true. Cauldron, please give me a perception roll, please. Very good. As you are driving through the city, you notice every once in a while there is kind of in a very well-placed location. There's a spotter, a person that you're familiar with, not personally, but you've seen this positioning before. Whenever the Thieves Guild or the Brotherhood were looking to kind of find marks, there would always be a person that would be spotting. They'd either be in a high location looking down or at a place where they could get a lay of the land and using Thieves' Cant hand signals be able to go and let people know where there was a mark. As you're going through, you do see several of these people as you're going through different areas where there's a concentration of like farmers or merchants or any kind of carts or just even like large gatherings of people. Now, from your perspective, you know that all of the guilds and all the different groups and gangs inside of the city would have to have their own markings so that someone could identify at a distance from a different group whether or not they were infringing on the territory of someone else. And as you're going along, you see at least two different markations on the uniforms or the disguise that the people are using. You're not familiar with either one of the marks, but they're consistent with the kind of finery and iconography that the thieves use to identify what group they're from. Like I said, you don't recognize what those groups are, but you do recognize that they are groups in of one type or another. So how are you maintaining? So are you using a physical disguise now where you're inside of the cart? Are you staying in
Probably
your...
just has like a cloak on,
So you're
covering her
you're
face.
trying to cover yourself. Okay, so you're trying to be hard to spot, right?
Yeah.
Okay. All right. So as you guys start riding through the city, eventually you see off in the distance, you see Castle Never. It's imposing. It also still shows signs of the damage from the conflicts that happened ages and ages ago. No one's really been successful in trying to completely restore all of the grounds, although Nevermember is trying to do that, but he just really hasn't been able to get the momentum going to completely make that happen. I mean, the city is barely functional from that perspective. However, they have been at least trying. It still is an impressive thing to see. You cut back down into the merchant area. Activity becomes thicker in some spaces, emptier in others. And you pass through the gates from the Protector's Enclave, which is where you guys started out today, and you pass into the area, the courtyard that falls under the auspices of the Hall of Justice. The Hall of Justice is an impressive building in and of itself. Large ivory towers made out of shining marble that have been gilded with metal, gold, silver, electrum that picks up the light from the sun, particularly as it begins to set over towards the sea at the end of the day, and becomes kind of like a beacon. It glows with an impressive energy and majesty that everyone in the city that is in the southern part of the town can see. And that's by design. That's to establish sort of the position and the statement they were trying to make when they first made that. The building was, of course, heavily damaged during the configuration and through the trials and tribulations of the past, but now it's in much, much better state than it ever has been in the past. As you pass through, 2 guards kind of stop you guys and ask what your business is. You indicate that you're supposed to be going in and giving a statement at the Hall of Justice, and they wave you through. In due course, you find yourselves dropped off by your rider in front of the entrance to the Hall of Justice. And in just one moment, I will bring you in there. All right, here we go.
Cauldron's going to cast Disguise Self
All right.
before we go in.
Kind of figured. Oops, let me do that again. There we go. Let me get you guys in here. Oh, let me do this. Let me try and preload this so it comes across a little bit faster for you. And away we go. Oops, I don't think I have everybody. I don't. How I dropped a couple people. I'm missing Ravina and Elrin. One moment. Oh, hold on. You guys may already all be there. 1 second. There you are. You guys just got doubled up on top of each other. Very, very good. Of course, you're not hearing tavern music anymore. Instead, you're pretty much hearing the activities of the city itself as you're walking along. There's quite a bit of activity even here at the entrance. However, unlike the areas you've gone through earlier on, which primarily seem to be, merchants, city people coming and going, instead now you're pretty much at more of those that have city business to attend to. Let me make sure we have this set for morning. And reset the fog of war. There we go. All right. So, as you come into the entrance, you see that there are a number of guards that are stationed at the entranceway. Standing atop the 2 guardhouses that are protecting and covering the entranceway to the bridge that is passing. Let me turn that down a wee bit. I can't hear myself think over it. That passes directly forward. You can see the pathway leading up to a very heavily fortified gate on the other side of the doorway. It's the drawbridge itself. But this entranceway has 2 archers standing atop of the guard shacks and 2 guards at either shack itself. There are armored carts that are directly in front of you. You can't quite get a good read on what might be on the protective walls of the Hall of Justice directly in front of you, but you do see arrow slits, you see a number of battlements, and you see a number of places where it would be very easy for pikemen, spearmen, crossbowmen, or other kinds of soldiers to be easily watching your approach, with you not being able to see them at all. You don't see any weapons of war. You only see personnel. But you can see over the top of the wall, off in the distance, the glorious domed top of the Hall of Justice and the spires that make up the 4 corners of the guarding wall around the territory itself. How would you guys like to proceed?
Forward, across the bridge.
All right. Who's going first? You?
I'll go first.
Very good. Putting you in the front. Who's going to be coming in next to you?
Probably Damien, then Cauldron,
Very good.
then the cleric, then Ravina, then Druger.
Gotcha. Okay, so you guys are coming into abreast across the bridge itself. As you begin to cross over the bridge, you can see that there is a very precipitous drop off of this bridge, easily 100 feet down to the murky waters of the river. This is one of the tributaries that comes in off of the area of the rift and the main river that cuts through the center of town. Looking down into the water, it does not look particularly inviting. It wouldn't be something you would want to try and dive into. If you were to dive off, you can see that the water is moving at an extremely quick pace, and it clearly isn't terribly deep. The rocks are frothing with foam as the water cascades and jumps over the various rocks. As you begin to make your way across the bridge itself, it becomes clear that there is significantly more of a military presence here. There are 2 guards that are watching the main doorway and gate that you come up upon. But as you are looking over, you can see a courtyard to the right and a courtyard to the left. The one on the right, you can see a number of rangers and guards practicing spears, crossbows, and arrows in the courtyard. And in the one on the left, you can see mages of various types casting and doing prayers and rituals and practicing their spell casting. Again, the battlements just get taller and taller as you get up. It's quite impressive and very, very formidable. This looks almost like a fortress, even though all it really is a courtyard and an administrative building. When you reach the front door, there are 2 guards there that immediately stand aside, pull back their pikes, and open the doors to let you come in. As you guys open the doors to come in, and you find yourselves on the inside of the doors, the particulate slams down with a heavy thud. You could feel the reverberations through the floor as the heavy wrought iron reinforced wooden pillars bury themselves 2-3 feet into the hardened marble floor, and you find yourselves in the middle of a great hall. There's a bit of activity, but there is a somberness, there is a quiet. You can hear your breath as you are walking into the room. As you look into it, you can see that there are in fact a number of soldiers directly in front of you. They are maintaining their positions at attention with a clear indication of professionalism and readiness. The sigils that they're wearing are the Neverwinter sigils. They are not the private security symbols that you'd seen earlier on. You do see standing atop in front of you, you see a number of stairs leading up to an elevated platform ahead of you. And you can hear people talking way off in the distance from the direction where that is coming. There are soldiers walking back and forth, commoners making their way through, people carrying books, scrolls, packages, and soldiers marching in formation of various types, rangers, pikemen, spearmen, swordsmen, in various configurations, making their way through the different doorways and the different channels ahead of you. As I said before, how would you like to proceed here with respect to this? By the way, the voices you're hearing are coming from up here in this general area. You can't make out what they're saying. It's a little too broken up at the moment, but that's where you're hearing the voices coming from. They're coming from up in this general area up here.
I should mention the time, but I wanted to ask before we go on. I don't recall the name of the person that I'm supposed to meet at the Hall of Justice to inform them of the updates from the road and our attacks along the road, our encounters.
Sure. Happy to remind you of who that person is. That person is the colonel, and his first name, I believe, was Rhaegon.
Okay.
Let me double check that I'm getting his name correctly. Dragon. Colonel Dragon Halthier. Yes.
So I let the guard next to me know that we have reports from the road that we were told to report to the Colonel Dragon.
Right. So this gentleman here, this soldier, as you go and give him that news, he still steadfast, looking at the wall like he's not even looking at anything in particular. He acknowledges, he snaps to attention. He goes, "Yes, sir, please proceed forward. You will see the High Adjudicator, the Diaz, and forthwith we shall send in the Colonel. Please proceed forward. All swords must be sheathed. Any indications of casting spells will be met with deadly force. Do you understand what I have explained to you?"
Yes.
Very
Yes.
good. As you say that, this soldier here goes and turns. This one does as well. And they snap back to attention. As you guys proceed on to the next group, same thing happens. They snap to attention and turn. And as you go past them, you see these guys return back to their position looking forward. Same thing happens here. Until you get to the top of the stairs. These ones, however, turn to face you. As you get to the top of the stairs, the two gentlemen in white silken robes step in front of you. And they say, "Welcome to the Hall of Justice. Who comes forth?"
I have to exit the game. It's 9:10.
Gotcha.
Well, 6:10 my time. 3:10 yours.
Correct.
So I guess I will catch up with you guys next week.
Alrighty, well we're gonna wrap up here in just a few minutes, so just come in, catch the last like 10 minutes. We only have about 10 minutes here. I'm gonna get you guys to a nice little easy to cast over point here in just a moment, alright?
Okay.
All
Talk
right.
to you all later.
Take
Thank
care,
you.
Steve. Cheers. All right, so the two gentlemen in the white silk robes ask who you are and what your business is and who you are here to meet. Did we...
Damien, would you like to introduce yourself?
Yes, there's a person who
I'm
is trying to
Davey.
stay in disguise
I'll
who would
stay.
probably rather not do that.
I was going to say, I guess, don't mind us. We're just trying to go on our way. I suppose. I mean, I know I have like a charm effect. I know I have charm, I believe. Hold on, let me check my thing. Just let them know that we're not. Hold on, let me check. The skill book. Yeah, I have charm person.
I wouldn't advise that, but
Oh, that's right. That's right. We are. That's right. I just realized we are in a situation where any sort of spell casting would be bad. What should we do? I mean, well, I was just about to introduce ourselves. Then I get told no, that's not a good idea, and then now I'm being told.
Well, I don't think that's what she said to you, Kenji.
Well, no, that's what I thought. That's what you said as the DM.
I don't think I said that at all, did I?
Oh, I heard you say that's not. Well, it would be such a good idea. Well, yeah,
That was
then,
me
yeah,
again.
Let's introduce ourselves.
Okay. What do you say?
No. I'm Damien of Travelgrad. These are my adventurers. We're on our way to Neverwinter, and when we happened to come by a pub, and we took down a.
We just lost Damien.
oh, I thought you did that.
That would be funny, but no, I didn't mute him. All right. So Damien gives. We'll say that he eloquently describes who he is and why you're there. The two people in the silken robes go, "Very well. His Honor, the High Adjudicator, Gren Raffensfern, will see you. Make sure you do not make any aggressive actions, Any attempts to use magic or weapons will be met with the deadliest of force. You are in the Hall of Justice. You have been brought forward here to give witness to the actions you have taken and to provide information as been requested. The audience you receive now is at our discretion. If you exhibit any signs of disrespect, you will be dealt with most harshly. Do you understand?
Yes, we understand.
Very good. Welcome, sister. And they both step aside, and they kind of follow you with their eyes as you guys come in. And you see them with their staves, which are glowing ever so slightly, clearly indicating that there is some sort of spell at the ready. You come to the end of the dais, to the beginning of a dais, and you see sitting on a throne, well, not really a throne, more of a chair that reminds you of the kinds that you would often see in, like, a temple, or at any kind of location where there is any great learning taking place. There are soldiers everywhere, strategically placed. And you see atop of the dais, you see a character that has weapons in his hands and clearly a magical essence about him. You see another on the other side with a staff that is glowing and throbbing with purple energy. Two soldiers sit on either side of this gentleman. The gentleman that you see has a wonderful smile upon his face. Long, silky, flowing hair, glistening and glinting blue eyes that you can pick up even from this distance. They sit below bushy eyebrows that look remarkably like two white cats sitting on his forehead. He is wearing white silk robes that are tied with a gold braid. He has sitting upon his lap a large leather-bound book, and he smiles towards you and indicates, "Come, come, let us discuss your adventures." And that, boys and girls, is where we will pick up next week, as you enter into the Hall of Justice to speak with the High Adjudicator, Gren Rastenferen. And that's where we will pick up next week. Right
Alrighty.
here. Next week, if we can, although as I mentioned, I will be traveling, so we may either move the date ever so slightly, day forward, day late. We'll see how that works, or we may have to take a week off. We'll see how that goes, but we will come to those decisions through Slack and through Slack. Sorry, this doesn't work. Through text messaging in the Discord channel. We'll figure out where we're going to be, and then we'll go and update the schedule accordingly. Damien, Cauldron, thank you very much, guys. A lot of fun.
I'm so sorry. My phone literally just died as
It was
we were in the
funny.
last
It
panel
was
there.
really funny. We were like, really? Right now? That's when it happens? In fact,
Oh, and
Cauldron accused me of muting you just for comic effect, but no, I would never do anything quite that mean. Or would
it'd be hilarious, but no.
the timing was pretty funny. But that's where we're going to pick up next week, so we will see you guys, or next session. Very well done. You guys are still alive. Amazing. Well done.
Hey, DM, can you raid people? I don't know if that's like a follower locked thing, but I noticed that Matthew Perkins is live.
He is live. Yes, I think I can. Let me see how I raid. I should know. I looked up how to do that. If you can give me a moment, I will. I'm going to turn my camera off, and I am going to turn off the audio, but I am going to go raid Matthew Perkins. So just give me a moment to go and remember how I do that, because I've been trying to figure it out. So give me one quick second, and I will do that. But anyhow, everybody, we'll see you next time. So we're going to go to the see you next week screen. But if you're on, please stick around. We're going to go raid the incomparable Matthew Perkins. So cheers. All right, guys, here we go.
Right.